Good. How's everybody doing today? So, we're going to talk about the power of affirmations and visualization, because what happens is a lot of us, when you're using what the law of attraction or the law of assumption, you have to understand the difference in the techniques you're using to create. Manifesting is all about a blueprint. You can't use a specific person system. It doesn't work for you because your blueprint is made up differently. Your DNA is a little different. Like someone else can have, they can exhibit a lot of good feelings. They could just feel like, yes, powerful and etc. You, on the other hand, you may get just a nice little slight feeling, and then you think, oh, I have to feel real big joy, real exuberance, excitement to manifest. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. You have to tune in to your unique makeup. Everybody has their own unique makeup, so that's the first thing you want to understand about when it comes to manifesting, or creating your reality. So, with that being said, okay, think about affirmations, visualization. There are different types of affirmations. We have the statement affirmations. These are the I am powerful, I am rich, I am successful affirmations, right? We've all been taught those affirmations for a long time. Everybody's been doing the I am, da da da. But there's a issue with the I am affirmation. It doesn't put you in a state of reality. And what do I mean by that? Reality and the stuff we're going to manifest, right? It comes to a part of our consciousness called our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is what controls everything. It controls your heart rate, our breathing, the actions and habits. It's pretty illogical. So, when we do affirmations, the subconscious is always looking for something to do. You have to give the subconscious initiative. Remember, it's what? Action and habit. Always remember, my subconscious is an action and habit mind. So, when you're going to do affirmations, it's always good to do affirmations with a question to it. Instead of, I am wealthy, I am rich, you can say, why am I so wealthy? Why am I so successful? What would my life be? What would my life look like being so successful? How can I become more successful? How would it make me feel to be more successful? See, those are the affirmations that are going to really target the change in your consciousness. And here's why. Because now the subconscious has initiative. You see, the subconscious loves to answer questions. And it answers questions by proving it as a reality. So whenever you start to use your questions, that's when you're going to start to get the reality around you to show you that why. Why am I so successful? Well, here's why you're successful, because da 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 da. You see how it works? So it's really tricky, and when you use affirmations. Now, the visualization, same thing, very powerful. Some people can visualize, some people can't visualize. It's fine. If you can't visualize, you can affirm. It's just one is using images, the other is using sound wave. They're both going to get to your subconscious. But when it comes to the visual process, when you're going to visualize anything, the same thing with visualization is you have to be able to see yourself in that scene. Now, before we go into visualization, it takes us back to something else. Guys, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to put all doubt aside that you can create what you want. And the interesting thing is this: even if you can't see a way logically, there is always a way subconsciously and spiritually. Because here's something that you need to know about your being and how you're made up. You aren't really yourself. That's why, okay, for my personal experiences, what I learned that I can't believe everything myself tells me. I know, right? Sounds crazy. But the fact is, I have to remember that, and the thing I learned, I have to remember that, there is more than this here. I mean, I have a conscious mind, but that's just a limited part. And that's what I use to perceive my world a lot. But that's where the problem comes in, because I'm always tied into that mind. And when I use that mind, I can't see the openings, or I can't see the way. And all of you have been doing the same thing, right? You can't see, all the answers. As a matter of fact, your mind will come back to you and tell you, I can't help you because I can't do this. We've never done this before. So what I learned, guys, I learned not to fully trust my own belief system in my conscious mind. That's what I mean. In other words, when my mind gives me the limitation, I understand that I have a higher mind that I can get to. And the higher mind I get to is with visualizing. So what I can't get to with my conscious, I go into with my visual. Because in my conscious mind I have limitation, but with my imagination, I have unlimitation. I'm unlimited in my imagination. So, are we living as a third person? That's a great question. You actually are living, as the way to put it, you are actually living as a third person, because you have the higher version of you looking down at you. So it's like you watching yourself. You're watching yourself on a television. The real you is up here, and the what we call simulation version of you is in this 3D world. So you are looking at yourself as a third person. And the good thing about that is you can also direct yourself from that first person to the third person. So, see how that goes? And I see some good questions here. But when you can use your imagination now, that's when I can go into and see stuff. So what I do, when I visualize, I always visualize and I break things up in scenes. And yes, you can visualize more than one thing at a time. All you have to do is you go from one scene, see what you want in the scene, leave that scene, you can go to a completely different scene, because we're dealing with a very higher level of consciousness. We're dealing with something that's beyond our logical mind. You know, our logical mind likes to put things in organization, right? Like to structure up this. It's going to say, well, this is that. You got to do this. It doesn't work that way when you're dealing with your authentic self, right? Your authentic self keeps you on another level. So all I do is I just give my authentic self blueprints. I said, I see myself. This is what I'm doing. This is what I like to achieve. This is where I'm at. Da 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 da. And then what happens is my authentic self, my higher self, now organize stuff around for me, and it comes in, and then I get it by way of my subconscious mind. And those two things are very important. So if you're going to use law of attraction, law of assumption, you have to be really, really repetitive on using visuals and using affirmations. Because when we affirm something, it's basically a truth to our unconscious mind. And the more you affirm it in that question form, it more gets your minds to start to do something for you, to take action, to make moves, to help you to manifest, to help you to create your life. And it's really, really important that we understand that, because a lot of us, this may be new to you. You may be trying to figure out, man, how do I do this stuff, right? Somebody asked me, so what about people with aphantasia? That's the same thing. You cannot visualize with aphantasia, but you can use affirmations with aphantasia. It's the same principle. As I said before, one just use images, the other just use sound waves. So if you're someone that can't visualize, you can use your mouth and talk. You can speak out loud. Oh, the important thing about affirmations is you don't do them in your head. You have to do them out loud. See, that's the next thing about affirmations we were taught. Well, you got to affirm in your mind, in your head. But there's an issue when you do that. Because you know who else is in your head? It's the ego, the one that can put you down, the one that can tell you, nah, man, this stuff, you can't do that. So what I've learned with affirmations is I stopped doing them in my head. Exactly. Yep. I start to speak out aloud my affirmations. And it's more powerful that way, because then the entire universe hears. And then it's remember, it's energy, it's sound waves, man. Sound waves are more powerful than visual waves. You think about it, because sound waves carry energy. You know, the universe is created through sound. Sound is what generates these photons, these light. Everything gives off this element. And when we start to use our sound, our voice, our vocal cords, you'll notice a difference to yourself too when you say it in the morning in your bathroom, say it around yourself, whisper it. As long as you can hear the sound, it goes out into the universe. It's going to come back a lot more powerful to help you. Can you describe what ringing in the ear sounds like? It could sound like a slow hum, like a high pitch. It comes in, it comes out. It could be the universe communicating with you. It could be a whole bunch of other stuff. It could be medical stuff. It could be stress. It could be all. But if it's coming from the universe, It will come in, it will stay for a little bit, and it will leave. It won't be like a constant thing. Okay? Does it sound like when the TV channel would... Yes, it could sound like that intermittently, and sometimes you can get that ringing from other stuff too. You could have it from stress, which causes this constant thing, or pulse, or loud music. But for the spiritual meaning of it, it will be something that comes in, and you may hear it in one ear, and it leaves and goes away, and it may come back again. So that's it. Now, when you are creating, the next thing about this, guys, when you're on your way to manifesting, or on your way to create what you want, you have to keep going. You cannot let your mind stop you and say it's not working, because that's another fault about the mind. The mind will like to look for results. And the thing I learned about this, I used to look for results too, don't get me wrong, because you want your desires. But what I learned along the way is that when I look for results, I just get looking for results. I'm like, why? If I'm looking for results, I'm not getting the results, but I'm getting more looking for results. It's just showing me like more of the possibility of what I want. And then it dawned on me, the reason why I keep looking for results is because I remember it's my subconscious mind. It's illogical. So if I'm looking for results, it's just going to give me looking for results. So instead of what I started doing, I stopped looking for results, and I just started to expect the results would come along. And that took me out of that illogical route. So when I expect something now, my subconscious now has the power to just bring it to me at the right time. Okay? And the next part now, this is the one that gets a lot of people down. I mean, this misses a lot of people. But listen, guys, let me tell you something about the universe. Like, you don't have to rush, and you don't have to stress, because everything that you want or you desire will always come to you in divine timing. Listen to that, divine timing. That's something I had to learn. Okay? That means that the timing isn't up to Mark. It's up to my higher self. It's up to my authentic. It's up to what's right and what's the best time for me. All I have to do is get in the vibration or the alignment to receive what I want. So a lot of people, they fight against that. They try to create in a certain time. And when it doesn't happen, they get down, they get depressed. And this is what mess a lot of us up when it comes to manifesting. So you got to always remember, guys, and this should be very relaxing, and this should be very empowering, because you know that whatever you want, all you have to do is what they say, project it and expect it. That's all you do. You go project it, and the timing is going to take care of itself. And that's the thing. So, okay, I'll take some questions. Someone's asking me here, I keep seeing 444. It means good things are on the way for you. I keep seeing 336. You got to look that up. That's a meaning. 999 means a sudden imminent change coming your way. It's a good thing. And 6333, you got to go look that up. That's a meaning as well. All these numbers, they communicate to you have meaning. You can go to Google, do a search, and it'll show you exactly what it means. And that's the beauty of all of this. The universe will always continually talk to you. It's communicating to you. And a lot of you guys are seeing this. You're seeing the numbers and anything like that. Okay? But the main part about this, guys, is the fact that the affirmations and the visualizations are the two most powerful tools in your arsenal that you can use to change your life. Someone says, I hit a jackpot last night for 222. Congratulations. What about seeing 888? Well, the 8s are all about money and abundance. If you're seeing the 8, something great is happening financially in your life. So the 8s are there. These 8 is an infinite number, so you can continue and continue and continue. And the fact that you're seeing that it's great, because it shows that the universe is talking to you. Now, the thing is, how many people know how to listen to the universe, right? They can visualize, they can affirm, but they can talk to the universe. You got to listen back, because the universe is going to talk back to you. The universe is always communicating back to you. And some of the communications, the universe uses these numbers that you guys are seeing. It uses your synchronicities. It talks to you in your dreams. So when you're able to get that feedback, then you can know where to navigate, take the right step. But all that comes, for you to get to that level, it all comes from what? Leaving the logical mind. Start to go into the intuitive mind, the intuition. Start to get master of your subconscious, your unconscious mind. And now that's when a whole bunch of stuff open to you, because and this is something I've learned as well, you know, when you're in reality here, what you see isn't what's real out there. It's not the real truth. It's not the real reality, right? Right? It's very, very immense. It's infinite. So like right in front of you and I right now are so many things going on around. There's so many opportunities. There's so many things that you can create, but because we're just limited in our regular mind, we can't see that stuff. The naked eyes cannot see the non-physical. You can't see what's going on behind the scenes. And what happens is a lot of us, we tend to feel stuck, but you can never be stuck because there's always something going on behind the scenes. And this is why it's so important to be in tune with yourself. Your mind will tell you you're stuck. Your mind will say, I can't see your way. Your mind will say, this is wrong. That's why some things you can trust your mind, some things you can't trust your mind. So what I learned is I never trust my mind when it comes to the big stuff, what we call the impossible, because it's always going to glitch me out. It's going to say I can't do it. You trust your mind, yes, when it comes to logic, structural things. It protects you like danger, if imminent danger. Yeah, you can trust your mind with that. But when it comes to building upon your true dreams and goals, man, you can listen to the mind, observe the mind, but don't observe the mind, but don't absorb the mind. See what I mean? Make sense? Okay. See how it works? Should we trust people who do right? Well, when it comes to people, and I've always said this, look, when you want to find out, like the next part, someone says is the people in your life. All right, let me share a secret, guys. If you want to find out who is on your side or who's on your team, tell people good news. Tell your friends and everybody around you some great news. The ones who are truly happy, you will see they'll be genuinely happy. But the ones you can tell, the ones that aren't truly happy, you could tell the fake smiles, and those are the ones you want to avoid. So when you want to find out if who's ride or die or who's a real person, just tell them good news. The ones that are jealous, you're going to know. The ones that don't like you, you're going to know. But the ones who are truly happy, they're going to be happy for your good news. That's how you can kind of stave off or kind of get negative people behind you, because, you know, manifesting or creating your life, it's the truth of the matter is it's about the space you create. It's a space. All of this is not empty. There's stuff going on. There's energy. You have to have the right space to manifest, and that means you have to have the right people, the right environment around you. All of these things they matter, man, because if you're in a toxic environment, if you're in a negative environment, something that you can't control, I understand you can't control it, then that's where you have to now balance yourself, and maybe you can take some time out, find a little peace for yourself. But most of the time, there's some things we can't control, like being around people, but there is something we can't control. We can't control how we react to those environments, and that's the key about it. It's how you react. It's not the particular environment, but how do you react to the environment? How do you perceive the environment? Because when it comes to people, the negative people, they will have issues because they're engaging with your ego, and your ego is, powerful, man. The ego trip, man. The ego wants things to go its way, and if you can get caught up in disbelief. So my advice is you should never listen to anyone that tells you can't be done, or it's not going to work, or anyone that gives you a reason why. Those people you don't need, man. You just got to believe in yourself. Okay? Yeah. You mentioned that abundance will come from things that occurred, 4 or 5 years ago? There's no timeline when it comes to abundance. Everything comes in divine time. If you're seeing it and it's consistent, you're going to get it. You're going to receive it. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Yep. So, but look, that's important, right? That's important to understand, guys, because it's really going to get you back on track. How do you bounce back from a losing streak on scratchers? Well, the thing about that is, I don't kind of look at things as losing streak. I just look at things as evolving streak, so to speak. So if you're attached to it, then more likely you're feeling a losing streak. But if you're just in a state of just This one is this one, the next one is much closer to my win. That's how I gotta look at it. And then sometimes you gotta stop and just let your authentic self talk to you. Because sometimes, guys, we don't control everything, right? There's energies that goes on and stuff. Sometimes you're in the right energy, you start to win a lot, and sometimes the energy just kind of chills and you're not in there. So you have to learn to go with the flow. If you notice that, well, I'm not manifesting so much, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just energy. So the universe is saying, hey, relax. When the next tide comes, you go out with it. When the next tide goes, you come in with it. So it's like a tide. You got to watch it and go out and come. You can't. The thing with the tides, you can't control the tide. You can't go to the tide and say, hey, come in. The tide's going to go in when it wants to go in. All you got to do is just build a boat and flow with it. That's the same thing when it comes to manifesting the lottery, the wealth, anything in your life. You have to learn to be able to go with that tide, go up and down, right? And get up and go. And yeah, someone says it. Then go back with a fresh headspace. Yep. So it's really, yeah, it makes sense because as you said, when you kind of forcing it. You're trying like, I'm going to win, I want, but nothing is going to happen until it truly happens. You aren't always. We don't have total control of when things manifest, the timing of it. We don't have that. That's up to the universe, our authentic self. We do, however, have control on projecting it and telling the universe what we want, and then creating it in the etheric part, and the universe will bring it at the appropriate time. So that's great. So we just have to learn to be patient. Patience, man, is a skill, is a talent that we have to develop when it comes to this thing here. Because if you don't have patience, you're going to create a lot of resistance because the ego's always looking for results. That's the problem with the ego. That guy's always looking for the results. It can never be patient. Because I'll tell you why your ego doesn't have patience. Because the ego knows it's limited. It knows that one day it's going to cease to exist. It's going to die. The authentic self, your true self, is limitless. It knows it's going to be forever. That's who you are. You're the spirit part. You're just in a 3D body. You're going to be here forever and ever. You're going to come back and come back again. So with that information, this is where you have to kind of learn to manage that ego, right? To keep that ego, to understand that. Use your ego to observe reality, not to absorb reality. Your mind, if you start losing your mind to absorb everything, you're gonna have a lot of problems. It's gonna be a lot of disappointments, and that's what I learned. I used to absorb reality. I don't do that anymore. I observe reality, then I pick and choose what I want to absorb based on what I desire. I no longer let my mind like take me for a ride. Sometimes it'll do that. It'll give you all these images and thoughts. I just observe what's happening in the moment, and if something I like or choose, I absorb it. So I observe. If it's what I want, I absorb, and that's the piggyback. That's the sweet spot to manifesting. The sweet spot to manifesting is observe, and then pick what you want to absorb. It's not observe and then absorb everything your mind tells you, because as you guys know, a lot of our thoughts come to us. We don't generate these thoughts. Thoughts are always coming. So a lot of these thoughts aren't even our thoughts. They're just collective from the collective subconscious, from somewhere else, picking up a signal. Remember, we're like radio waves, man. We're constantly emitting energy. So we're always picking up stuff like a radio station. It's like a radio station. They have so much channels. I don't listen to all the channels. I just choose a channel I like to listen to. Even though there are all these channels out there. Same thing with you. I can observe these channels. That means, look, I could turn my knob. I could pass the jazz, da-da-da. Then when I find a channel I like, I set it on the station. That's called an absorbing it. Observing it is changing the dial, checking out the sounds. Absorbing it is putting your dial on that channel. That's the same way it works with manifesting in the universe and everything. You have to be aware of your environment, watch what's happening, and then something you like, you take it in and absorb it. When you absorb it, it also goes to your subconscious. It's telling your subconscious, I want more of this. So that's why it's powerful when you visualize and when you affirm, because you're impressing, you're telling that subconscious, I want more of this. And what does the subconscious do? When you give it a lot of repetition, a lot of consistency, it's going to accept that as a belief. Then it's going to start to bring it in to your world, and that's when you see like the change. You say, oh man, I was doing this 5, 6, 7 months, and it's manifested. So many of you have happened to. You've been visualizing something, and maybe it took a year, or something may take a month, maybe it took a couple years, but it came true. And then when it came true, you probably didn't think about it, and then you realize, like, man, you know what? I just realized I was manifesting this for like a year or two, but I forgot about it. See what you did? You observe, right? And then what you did, you didn't hold on to it. What you did, you observed it, and then you absorbed it because it's something moving towards you want, and then you let it go. You went into the flow. You continued with your life, and then boom, it showed up. That's the sweet spot to manifest. So that's what I want you guys to leave you with today, is to understand like these little trinkets here. You can put them together. They can really have powerful, successful impact on your life.